this 60-second PD, we will look at some teacher tools. You can search the class you want to view and start class, although if you did set up auto start, you won't have to start the class each time. When you start the class manually, you have the same options to close all the tabs when class starts, to allow them to be able to raise their hand, initiate a chat with you, and to play a sound alert on their device. Takes a couple seconds, but then once that pulls, you'll see what they are currently looking at. I do have the option to pin each student, so perhaps I have a long list and a student I need to view is way down at the bottom, or keep an eye on more often, is way down at the bottom, and so I can pin them and it moves them to the front, and I can pin a couple, so I can pin, maybe I need to look at 3 or 4 kids. So it'll pin those to the front or the top of your list. You can have different view options here, so I can switch this to where I just see what tabs they have open instead of what they are currently viewing. All of these buttons up here are designed to apply to the entire class at one time. So I can screen lock. You can give them a message, a custom message if you want. And then when I lock that screen, you'll see what happens on this student page. They get this message and they can do nothing else on their device. They switch if they switch to a new tab, it blinks for just a second. If they open a new tab, it'll start to load and they can search for something, and as soon as that pulls up, they get that lock screen every single time, so they can't go anywhere until you release them. So I'm going to now release that student, and you'll see that their screen in just a second will pop up. You then have Sight Lock, which again, these buttons up here are going to apply to every student in the class. Yes, I want to continue with Sight Lock. Now you can put in a single site right here on the fly if there's a site that comes up, or you're in the middle of class and you decide you want to lock them in, or you can restrict them to something that you've already created that you may use often, such as Moodle. You can force close all other tabs that they have open if you would like, but they can't access those other tabs, so it's really not necessary if you don't want to close all of them out. Do not open tabs. If you choose that, it does not populate Moodle for them. If you leave it open, it should populate whatever site you've chosen, or multiple sites. As you can see, you can lock them in to multiple sites at once, so those would be the 3 they could access. So if you leave this unchecked, it will open Moodle on their page, on their Chromebook for me. So I'm going to hit Sight Lock, and you'll see here in just a second, Moodle popped right up. And if I try to navigate this student to another page, it is giving me that, there it is. It is giving me this blocked page for every other tab that I try to go to. Moodle is the only one that is going to allow her to have any access. And this will remain, again, until you release them. You can push out a URL, which is just a quick way to get them to a site, which maybe is something that you have on your web links again, if you want to push out Moodle and not lock them into it, but just push it out to them. Or again, on the fly, you can just enter something there. You can also set up an announcement to all students at once. Don't forget whatever. And when you send that announcement, you'll see it whites out their screen, and this is all that they can see. They cannot do anything else. If they switch from tab to tab, it continues to pull up that announcement, and they have to click OK before they can get back to their screen, which ensures that they see whatever your message was. A few other things. You have a circle blue arrow icon over here, which will refresh their screens. It should auto refresh pretty regularly, but in case you feel like it isn't refreshing quickly, you can choose that button. You can also add 5 minutes to a class if you if, a schedule change happens and you need to add a couple minutes. That way you can do additions in 5-minute increments. So those are your teacher tool options for all students in your class at the same time.